Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome back. I hope that you are all doing well. This is where I talk about the books that I'm reading. I like to read diverse books and I highlight a lot of Canadian literature, which I am definitely going to be doing today. If you are new, thank you so much for checking out my channel. Please hit subscribe and stick around. It would be great to have you as part of this community. Today, I am going to be reacting to the Giller Prize Longlist that was announced a few days ago now on Monday, September, what would that have been, the 15th? There are 14 books on the long list, and I am so excited about the authors that I know and that I've read. So there are a number of authors that I've read on the list. And then I'm also excited about the books and the authors that are new to me and that have kind of highlighted some authors that I didn't know before. So if you are new to the Giller Prize, it is Canada's most prestigious award for Canadian fiction. And I believe, so I recently did a video asking the question, is Can Lit in trouble? And I did talk about the Giller Prize, and I think in that video I said that the prize this year was less than it has been. So in the past it's been $100,000 for the winner and $10,000 for the runner-ups, which is pretty good. But I think I have made a mistake because I said that they were going to be giving less this year, and I actually think it might be staying the same, at least in everything that I've been reading recently. There has been some controversy around the Giller Prize, and the Giller has included some of that information in the article where they announced the long list, and I'm going to link that article below. So if you want more information about that or you want to know what they say, then that you can check it out there, because I really want to focus on the list itself and to celebrate the authors and the books. So the list this year includes 12 novels and 2 short story collections. There are usually, I would say, 2 or 3 short story collections that are part of the long list, and usually I think at least 1, sometimes 2, make it to the short list. So this is pretty normal. There are 3 authors who made the list who have won the Giller in the past. And then there are also a few other authors who have, I'm going to say, been nominated for other Canadian awards, literary awards. So there's a lot of really interesting authors on this list. So let's go through them. I'm going to go in the order that they are in the article, and that means that we are starting with a previous winner, and that is André Alexis. And his short story collection is called Other Worlds. And the blurb for this says, spanning from 19th century Trinidad and Tobago to a small town in Ontario, from Amherst, Massachusetts to modern day Toronto, Other Worlds is a short story collection that highlights characters encountering moments of profound puzzlement. I have read the book 15 Dogs, which is the book that André Alexis won the Giller with, and that was in 2015. So we will see if he can pull it off again with this short story collection. Next is We Love You, Bunny by Mona Awad, who is a Boston-based author. And this book is a sequel and a prequel all in one to her debut novel, Bunny, which I loved. It remains, I think, my favorite book of Mona Awad's from all of the books that I've read so far. And I can't wait to read this just to see how she already adds to this very wacky story. We know that in We Love You, Bunny, Sam gets kidnapped by her, so-called friends because of how she has portrayed them in her book that has recently been published. And Mona Awad has a very, very creative imagination. I'm sure that we will be in for a wild ride here. Then we have a new to me Calgary-based writer, and this is called An Astonishment of Stars by Kirti Bhadresa. I'm not sure how to say the last name. This is a short story collection as well, and it focuses on racialized women navigating all the hardships of just everyday life. So there's a wife who uses the name of her white husband in public. There's the teen girl who watches her rebellious older sister slip away. And just the stories shed light on those who often remain unseen. So that's an interesting collection, and perhaps, which would be great, is if I have found a new favorite Canadian writer here. Plus they're from Calgary, so that's cool. Next is another new to me author, and this is We the Kindling by Otoniya J. Okot Bitek, who was born in Kenya and currently lives in Kingston, Ontario. I am very interested in this book. It is about three women, three friends, who many years ago were captured, or kidnapped really, as school children in northern Uganda. So this will definitely be going on my TBR. Up next is another new author to me, and this is The Tiger and the Cosmonaut by Eddy Boudel, who is based in Vancouver. This is about Casper Han and his siblings who are trying to solve kind of this case about what happened to Casper's twin brother more than 20 years ago. And I'm interested in this because, well, for a number of reasons, but it takes place in a small remote town in BC, and I am from a small remote town in BC, so there's that connection. And I guess I'm up for a bit of a mystery, which this has, so it'll be an interesting read. This next book, I thought I had it actually, but perhaps I've just talked about it a few times. I feel like I owned it. And it's called Sugaring Off by Montreal-based writer Fanny Britt. And this is translated from the French by Susan Ouriou, who lives here in Calgary. And this book follows a married couple that seem like they are fine. And then an accident occurs, and the couple have to face some reality that maybe everything isn't as okay as they would like it to be. Next is a book and author, again, both are new to me, and it's Still by Joanna Cockerline, who is from Kelowna, BC, and that is also where this story takes place. It's basically taking place on the streets of Kelowna. It is about an unhoused community, and Kayla, who is one of the main characters, is looking for her friend, who is a sex worker who has gone missing. And what I like about this book is its theme. I have a really special connection with the theme of home and just all of the things that home means to people. And that is in this book for sure. The theme of finding home in others and in ourselves. Next is a book that is high on my wish list and an author that I really enjoy, and it's The Paris Express by Emma Donoghue. Emma Donoghue is an Irish-Canadian writer who lives in London, Ontario. And Emma has been longlisted before with The Pull of the Stars, which is a book that I absolutely loved. So this is a historical fiction novel. It's inspired by a real-life photo of a train hanging off of the side of a station, basically. I've shared that photo before. If I can find it, I'll put it up. This book gives the stories of the passengers and the railway workers, and they're traveling from the Normandy coast to Paris. I am very intrigued by this next book, and this is a new to me author as well. It's called The Sideways Life of Denny Voss, and it's by Holly Kennedy, who is based near the Rocky Mountains in Alberta. So that means a lot of places, really. This story takes place in rural Minnesota, where Denny Voss lives with his elderly mother and his beloved dog, and he is cleaning up roadkill to pay the bills. And his options for other work are limited because he has a developmental delay, and he's always felt pretty content with the life that he has and that he's living. And then Denny's life is turned upside down when he's charged with murder, and I have a feeling that I will really like Denny and this story, so I think I will be adding this to the TBR as well. Next is the only book on the list that I've actually read. I just finished it not too long ago, quite recently, and it is The Life Cycle of the Common Octopus by Emma Knight. Emma Knight is based in Toronto, Ontario, and this is about Pen, who is going to Scotland for her first year of university. And when she's in Scotland, she decides to connect with her father's best friend. And she's searching in some ways for some answers about her parents. And she kind of, she becomes part of this friend's family, and they all love her. And she learns about a whole bunch of secrets. I will say that. So I'll be talking about this book more when I do my wrap up. Next is Wildlife by Amanda Leduc, who is from Hamilton, Ontario. And I have another book by Amanda Leduc on my shelf, and I know that she writes about disabilities, and her books often have like a dystopian theme to them. So I've been wanting to read her for a while. In Wildlife, the story follows Josiah, who is banished to work as a missionary in Siberia. And this is to rid him of his belief that animals have a divine power. And then a natural disaster kills all the other missionaries there, and Josiah is saved by 2 talking hyenas. So it's kind of interesting. And he starts a religion based on the notion that God allowed these hyenas to speak as part of a plan to kind of fix humanity and everything that's going on. So as he gains more followers, more animals begin to talk to humans, and a mass exodus of captive animals causes everyone to reckon with their own wildness. So the premise of this sounds very interesting to me, and I really do want to read some of Amanda Leduc's work. So I'd probably read other books on my shelf first, unless this gets shortlisted. Next is another new to me author. I have heard of their other book, and I can't think of what it's called right now, but I haven't read anything by them. But the book that is longlisted is The Road Between Us by Bindu Suresh, who is based in Montreal. And this is about 4 characters. There is a woman named Estella who is struggling in basically all of her relationships, her personal and professional relationships, due to the loss of a sibling at a young age. It's also about Estella's estranged best friend, Ash, who confessed his love for her, and he is figuring out his bisexual identity in the context of his traditional Indian family. There's Ophelie, who is coping with PTSD from an emotionally abusive relationship. And there's Roman, who is a teacher who seeks out his younger students in the wake of the Me Too movement. So that sounds a little bit interesting as well. This might be really interesting to see how all of these characters come together. And then these last 2 authors on the list are both previous winners of the prize. And they are writers that I have been following for a long time. And in my opinion, they are 2 of the best Canadian writers out there right now. So first is Pick a Color, which is the debut novel by Souvankham Thammavongsa. And I'm really excited to read this. Souvankham Thammavongsa lives in Toronto. And this is a story that takes place over one day. And it gives us a glimpse into the life of Ning, who is a retired boxer and who works at a nail salon. And Thammavongsa writes a lot about the immigrant experience, and that is, I think, a strong theme here as well. She won the Giller in 2020 with her short story collection, How to Pronounce Knife, which I know if you've been watching my channel, you know this already. It is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, short story collection of all time. It was fantastic. I was so excited when she won. Finally, we have You've Changed by Ian Williams, who is also based in Toronto. This is about a couple who are having marital problems. They kind of go through this midlife crisis. They both decide to change things about themselves, hoping that this is going to save their marriage, but of course, we don't know if it does or not. So we have to read the book to see if their marriage survives. But I say this all the time about Ian Williams, but he really is thoughtful about every aspect of his writing and the overall book. His books always have really unique elements and structure, and I'm really, really looking forward to reading this. I'm hoping to read it very soon. And to just kind of enter into this world that he's built around these characters. Ian Williams won the Giller in 2019 with his debut novel called Reproduction, and that also had an interesting structure and very thoughtful. So those are the 14 books that are on the long list. They were chosen from more than 100 books, which to me seems like a smaller pool of books than usual, but I don't know like where we are with the authors who have pulled their books from being from being eligible, I guess, and whether or not they are now going to allow their books to be eligible again now that the Giller is no longer partnered with Scotiabank. So we'll see where everything ends up as we move forward. I think the prize is going to, find its footing, but perhaps in a new way, and it might look a little bit different, and that's okay as we move forward. So I'm not necessarily going to do a prediction of the short list, but I think what I'll do instead is just share the 5 books that I am most excited to read. And, if they made the short list, then I would be very happy. That would be a bonus. The short list will be announced on October the 6th, so it's not too far away, really. And I do hope to try and read all of the books on the short list before the winner is announced on November the 17th. So the 5 books that I am most excited to read are Pick a Color by Souvankham Thammavongsa. That is definitely, going to be on my TBR. You've Changed, obviously, I already own it, by Ian Williams. And as I said, I think that they are 2 of our most talented Canadian writers, and I want to continue to follow them and support their writing. I would also like to read The Sideways Life of Denny Voss by Holly Kennedy. I think this might be a really interesting story. I already feel like I'm going to like the main character. There's just something about this that's calling me. We the Kindling by Otoniya J. Okot Bitek. This is also high on my TBR, and I think I'm really going to like that story. The 5th book that I would put as my top books to read would be... It's hard. I'm looking at the list and it's between 2 or 3 books for me. But I think I'm going to settle on the book Still by Joanna Cockerline. This seems to have themes that are similar to Richard Wagamese's book, Ragged Company. As I said, I already have a connection to some of the themes. I'm interested in how this will all come together in this book and what new perspectives it might bring. So these are my top 5 books, but I will eventually read probably most, if not all, of the long list. Please let me know if you are following the Giller this year and what books you are, rooting for, that you're hoping will make the short list. Have you read any of the long list already? Do you have a top 5 that you would like to see on the short list? I'd love to hear what you think of all of these authors and books. And I also hope to touch base with all of you again once I've read the short list, and I'd like to talk about those books before the winner is announced. And the winner is going to be announced, what did I say? November 17th, I think it is. So I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.